Welcome to the Clear in the Air podcast with D and Q.
D.
Now I'm Q. Yo, man, we just want to just try to clear the air on probably one of the biggest conversations that you can imagine is we'd have in our generation. Right now, it's a lot of talk about the vaccination being mandated. Matter of fact, we're not even going to call it that. We're going to call it the jab. All right. A lot of talk about the jab and how it's being mandated. And there's a little bit of controversy, and that controversy, I think, is what we're going to clear the air on. Just to kind of start off, D, how do you feel about the jab being mandated?
So to be clear, we're talking about in the workplace. We're talking about your employer mandate.
Just kind of because
we're talking about anything, yeah, because it could be about businesses you can frequent or cannot frequent. I got you.
So just in general.
Just in general. Oh no, man, I'm kind of torn. I feel like it shouldn't be forced on people. But I understand if you're an employer, a place of business, and you heavily believe in the vaccine and you want to keep your establishment safe, you want to keep your employees safe, you want to keep your team or your teammates safe, then I can see why you would employ a mandate in regards to the vaccine. I think the biggest thing is, there seems to be a fine line on, some places are offering, exemptions. I know two of them are a religious exemption and a medical exemption. Some places are not. So that's that fine line right there. What's the difference between this place offering exemptions and this place not? It's tough, man. It's tricky. I think it's something we've never really experienced before. There's the people out there that are saying, well, since you've been born, you've been getting shots. You can't go to school until you get your shots. You know what I mean? So when you was younger, going to elementary school and preschool, you had to get your shots. You had to get your physical before you can go to school. You know what I'm saying? You had to have those health records. So, and that's true. That is very true, man. It's a very deep discussion to have, and it's not going away. And you know how that is, man. When it come up, we got to talk about it. We got to clear the air on it. So, I see both sides of it, and I think the big thing is people be like, well, you don't have to work for that employer. You don't have to, you know what I'm saying? You could work from home, or you don't have to send your kids to school. You can homeschool them.
Yeah, that's easier said than done.
That's way easier said than done. But I think a lot of people are kind of taking that stance. What are your thoughts on that?
I think I agree with what you say. I see, and just a disclaimer, it's a conversation. We're clearing the air. This, in fact, I don't know if the air will be cleared completely with this because it's an ongoing conversation. I think what more or less disgusts me is how politicized this has become. Like you said, right. When we grew up, you had to get your vaccinations, this, that, and the third. Pets have to be vaccinated a certain kind of way. So you get that part, but it just was never a mandate, and it was never a situation where. Well, I'm sorry, it was a mandate, but that was a. It's kind of hard to see it when you look at it objectively to say that it's not the same, But what is not the same is it's not. It was never a political situation where people drew lines in the sand. Churches are divided because of it. The nation is divided because of it. and it's just a bad place where we found ourselves in. I do see both sides. I see how you have a country that says, okay, we're America and we need to get this under control because, everyone looks up to us. I know that there's vaccinations or jabs being sent elsewhere because they can't produce them as fast as we can. But again, I think this has really become a political thing. And I'm not sure when health was necessarily a political, like heavily based politically. Everybody should have good health, and I think that's the other thing about it is that I guess it's the approach of those that are in a position to really mandate this situation that it should be available to all.
Right.
Um,
I think
and
health. I think healthcare has kind of always been talked about in politics. A lot of candidates do talk about their policies in regard to healthcare, but to your point, I think it's become so heavily scrutinized that it's because it's causing a lot of division on where you
mhm,
stand on it.
mhm.
And I totally agree with that point. Go ahead on that.
No, 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 you're good. So, I guess, and this is another thing too that I'll say, I think people have a different view, um, or look at things differently when it impacts them personally.
Correct.
So with that being said and done, um, has this impacted you by any means? Has there been a situation, in your life personally where there's been a mandate for the jab or those close to you at all?
Yeah, yeah. So, um, my I've been to several places of business that you had to be fully vaxxed to enter. Uh, Employer required it. Um, I've had friends, who have had, you know, to do it, to keep their place of employment. So yeah, it's definitely uh, I've definitely encountered it. And just to be clear, we're not taking no positions for or against the vaccine. We're not alienating anybody. If you're pro jab, I'm sorry. If you're pro jab, great. If you're anti jab, great. Like we what I'm saying,
It's a
we
discussion.
indifferent when it comes. Yeah, it's just an open, healthy, honest discussions. We're not gonna you know talk about what we are and what we aren't, this and that. We're just talking about open discussion about jab mandates. So, but yeah, man, it's definitely I definitely have seen it, uh, encountered it over these past few months, and it's real. It's real, and I think there's going to be more of it. And wherever you stand on the issue, you're going to have to deal with it. It's going to be something that you just can't ignore. So, how about you? Have you know had to
So
deal with it? And plus, you got a wife and kids. So, talk
right,
about that aspect. Because with
right.
me, I just gotta you know worry about me. What I'm saying? Obviously, my parents and this and that, but you have people that are in your house that you have to deal with. So how does that affect you?
So for me, I have 5 children. I have the older two are at a point in which they can make a decision to be for it or against it,
Hmm.
and therefore have either made decisions or not made decisions based on their ability to do whatever they want to do.
Hmm.
Um, some schools have required it, so that's played an impact on my son who um, is in school here in Maryland. He had to make a decision because several schools he was looking at. Some said it's mandated, and some said it's not. So I think that played a role on him choosing the school.
We're talking
From
about college, correct?
college, I'm sorry,
Right.
college,
Right.
yes.
Right.
And so then you have my oldest who he works from home. So again, a decision that he could make, but he also cuts hair.
Hmm.
So being around people and all these
Hmm.
different things. So there's situations, and then I know it's been months ago. Both my wife and I being in property management, customer service, it was definitely encouraged. I know people who close family members outside of my family who have been told that it's, their employer may be coming down the pike with making it mandated. So, like you say, it's not so easy, especially in the midst of the pandemic where jobs have been lost, to just say, oh, well, you don't have to work for this person. You're talking about changing, the livelihood. Maybe you stay in the industry, but maybe you have to go a bit further of a commute, just different ways that you could be impacted. So that being said, do you know anyone who has contracted COVID? And
Yes.
and if so, has that played a role, not with you saying what you're going to do or not, but has it
Mhm.
made you consider getting the jab?
So I've had both. I had friends who have contracted COVID and has gotten a jab. Then I have friends who contracted COVID and they're still not getting the jab. So, you know what I'm saying? It's, man, when I tell you it's all over the place, it's all over the place. And each person has their reasons. And when you listen to it, I mean, I can't hate on their reasoning. You know what I
Okay,
mean? So yeah, man, I've seen both. I've seen
same,
both.
same. Now, we're not going to get to the end of this here, but I do want to ask one last question. Um, and I'll give some if they're not the same. Can you give me reasons as to why those around you, those who have said, I'm not going to get it, don't want to? And can you give me reasons for why those who got it, got it?
Yeah, yeah.
Two, just give me two.
Two apiece, two for
Uh,
and two against, or one for and one
one
against.
for, one against.
Okay. The main reason for is just, you know, it just prevents you from, what I'm saying, if you get COVID, it'll help you, you won't have the 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 really dangerous and very side effects to it. And it's just, a way to get it under control. And, people feel as though we've had to take vaccines before. Why is this any different? It shouldn't be any different. The vaccine, the jab is a way for us to get this virus under control. Against, I think the main one is a lot of people feel it's rushed. Um, a lot of people may feel there's, there's a few who think it may be some ulterior, something in it, marketing beats, all this stuff. I don't come across too many people with that. A lot of people may, I think, just feel it's rushed and they just like, why is it being pushed on us? Why are they offering so many wonderful gifts and prizes if you take it now and this and that? They just seem a little skeptical. They seem fishy about it. I think that's the major one. There's some others like, you know, you know, the majority of people that have it have no side effects to it, besides the normal stuff you hear. But there have been some people who have had very, severe side effects to it. And those that believe that be like, well, what about those people? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm,
It's a
mm-hmm,
small percent, but it's still somebody. You know what I
mm-hmm.
mean?
Right,
So
right, right,
so I think those are probably the two biggest reasons, the biggest reason for and against the
right.
jab. How about you?
I think I would agree. I've heard the same as far as against it too fast. And then there's a lack of trust, in particular in the African American community,
Correct.
just based off of previous things that have happened. So historical data, which is what all people go deal with, whether you're in business or whether it's just a personal experience, you go off of historical data. People that have been for it, just because the idea that even if you were to get COVID, it could prevent you from dying. So I think you really hit it on the nail. Again, this was really just kind of get the conversation started, because I feel like there's a lot of situations where you don't necessarily get the truth, and then sometimes there's that you don't get the truth, and there's a lot of misinformation, but then people just kind of are going to believe what they want to believe, and fear sometimes will just take over, and it may not have any reasoning. So as we clear the air, man, again, I think one of the things we really wanted to just make clear is that, you know, we're not for a decision or against a decision. We're just starting a conversation. And I think the conversation has been started. But, you know, we will be very careful of misinformation. That's why we're not sharing necessarily personal beliefs, just kind of talking about our environment. And we just welcome you to share what you think. You know, what's reasons as to why you or other people around you have gotten it, or why you refrain from getting it. We love to hear from you. So, yo, as we've cleared the air, we just welcome you to the next conversation that we'll have, where we go into specific situations, NBA, sports situations. I think Southwest has a situation that's going on, all the stuff that we're going to touch on. So, yo, until the next time, we've cleared the air as much as we could today. We'll see you
Peace.
then.